What's going on, Packers fan? Eddie here from the Beers and Ball Show yet again. And today we are going to give Matt LaFluer a thermometer. We're gonna check his pressure rate. We're gonna see how much pressure is Matt LaFluer under going into this year. But I think what we first need to do is kind of somewhat roughly define what pressure is for a head coach. Because you look at all these head coaches, you can see a bunch on the chopping blocks. Aaron Glenn in New York's probably on the chopping blocks. For just to kind of name one, I even think maybe Kevin O'Connell over in Minnesota is kind of on that really high pressured need wins, playoff wins more than anything right now for him to keep his job in Minnesota. When we look at Matt LaFleur, I think the easy thing to say is if this was the playoffs of the old, they would have never made it. So you can't give him the full credit of it. I give him the full credit for him because he's just doing what the cards are dealt to him for. Yeah, if I get the 7th seed, I get to a part of the dance. Hell yeah, I'm taking it. He got a playoff win off of it. Now the last two ones, not great, but when I define pressure for a head coach, it's the Super Bowl window. In that door, how open is that door that you have to succeed within it? And the door is wide open right now for Matt LaFleur and the Green Bay Packers. And if it kind of keeps trending the way it was, it ain't looking good. And I even hate to say that because, of course, I want the Green Bay Packers to win a Super Bowl, but they played complacent a lot last year with a lead on both sides of the ball. And I think that's one of the biggest marks I want to see crossed off this offseason, going into the season, an attitude change. And we look back, he got his extension because Brian believes in him. And even though I think they're pretty much on even kilts with each other, Ed Policy believed in him. There was never a doubt that Matt LaFleur was going to get that extension, and it was done relatively quick. It didn't take forever. But it's what do we do now? Because, again, we cannot become complacent, Matt LaFleur. We have to continue to get back to what made you special. What made you special was in that 2020 year. It was the all gas, effing brakes. Nags was talking about Gophers and Golden Retrievers and Packers by 30, and I was all in. I was, Packers by 30. Wide receivers, Golden Retrievers, give me Packers by 30. Because Matt LaFleur brought that style of play to the field. And I know that, MVP Rodgers year, Devontae was having a hell of a year. This team's not far off. This 2026 Green Bay Packers team is not far away from saying we need to score a bunch of points every single game. So that complacency of playing up by 10 cannot happen. Teams you're supposed to beat, beating more handily, not, walking all over them, because that just does not happen in the NFL. But winning those games by 3 against the Panthers, against the Browns, winning those games, finding out a way to win. And I think that comes in the golden time frame, which is the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the second half. So many games swing that way because when the Packers were up by 10, it seems like Matt LaFleur just put on cruise control in his Tesla and just went in the back seat and took a nap. Where it was just 3 plays thrown at the wall of what's going on. But then he shows you greatness all this other time. Like, I don't understand the lack of urgency, for a lack of a better term. And why can we not be urgent at every facet of the game for 60 minutes? And I know Matt LaFleur is most definitely telling his guys urgency, urgency, urgency. And he can only do so much. The players still have to play at a super high level for them to make Matt LaFleur look great. Look as great as a coach as he is. They still have to do their job. But I think some of those play calls, inside zones in particular, a lot of us was wanting to bang our heads on a table because it's, oh, look, another Packers game, and it's another 3rd and 3 inside zone to nothing when you have Jordan Love. Let's run into a wall on 3rd and 3 when you have Jordan Love. I mean, there was a lot of embarrassing moments this year. You look at that Philly game, 4th and 1, they're calling out the inside zone. The defensive linemen are calling it out. It's kind of that's embarrassing on a coach. And a lot of our great Cheesehead TV subscribers here love to talk about Matt LaFluer with the iPad. It looks like he's ordering Domino's. Got put in a lot of places where not a lot of good looks, but I digress by getting back to the point of there's the only pressure Matt LaFluer has is not a pressure of losing his job. It's about losing the window to win a Super Bowl. Because this window over the next 3-4 years, where Micah Parsons is in his prime, Jordan Love is playing at an MVP level, Christian Watson is going to be fully healthy, playing at a high level, Jayden Reed is all the way back, and you got a top 3 tight end. That's not going to come around every year. So it's taking advantage of the opportunity now that you have with everything you built over the last few years. Over the last 2-3 years, you've built this. Now take it and go. Go win a Super Bowl. So I think the pressure of winning a Super Bowl is you cannot get higher than level of pressure to win a Super Bowl. But then you also, if you're Matt LaFleur, you kind of got to look over your shoulder a little bit. The Bills moved off Sean McDermott pretty easily. And they were in kind of the same boat the Packers were. You have a good year, and then you get to the playoffs and you kind of crap the bed a little bit. And and then the Giants was a dumpster fire, so we don't really need to get into why they fired John Harbaugh. That kind of made sense. What's his name? One of the Harbaughs. Anyway, I want to hear what you guys think on this. I'm very interested because I'm pretty sure I'm on the outside looking in because there was no better coach this offseason that they could have brought in. I think Bob Saleh is a great coach. I don't think he fixes the issues we have in Green Bay. I think it's the messaging was a little off because there was a couple of rotten eggs in that locker room for about roles, and it seems like they have exercised getting those bad apples out, and I'm very excited to see what Matt LaFleur does this year with this offense because we have to remember, yet again, he was coaching games where there was never a time where Jordan Love, Christian Watson, Jayden Reed, and Tucker Kraft were all on the field together. And we're talking about the core of this offense did not play a single snap together last year. And if we're moving forward, that should just take the pressure off of Matt LaFleur. But it can also put pressure on him because it is. You have no excuses now. You have no injury excuses now. You have all your guys. There should be no lack of performance. But I think that's why it's a great conversation. Let's have a conversation in the comments section. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And until next time, go, Pack, go.